Remember when I'm talking about the matrix and the outer planets in astrology and how well, the matrix is like recursion, which means you're stuck in a loop basically. And then the outer planets in astrology and the major arcana with tarot are breaking the recursion. So they're like, because they're the soul's path. So there's something bigger. So the things, when those things are happening in your life, or those planets are, showing up in a harsh way in your life, that means that whatever recursion, whatever aspect you're sort of stuck in the human matrixy loop will be broken open by the teachings of that planet. Okay. I've already done Pluto. That was the first one. Then I did Saturn. And now I'm moving on to Neptune. And I actually have a lot of healing to do with Neptune. I thought it was Pluto, but I feel like I understand Pluto now. I respect what Pluto taught me. Saturn is like the English teacher I told you about. It was like writing, the stuff all over my papers. Neptune still kind of irritates me, but that's just because I have a lot of Aries in my chart. But Neptune is going into Aries, so all right. Well, first let me say that Neptune is just finishing up in Pisces. So Neptune is like that watery planet. If you think about Pisces, if you know anything about any Pisces in your life, there's like a thin veil between what's real and what's not real, what's possible and what's actually happening. So from 2011, which is when my life turned to absolute shit, 2011 to 2026. So we still have a little bit longer. It's been in Pisces. It's just finishing up there right now. Spiritual disillusionment and mass awakening. So think about it like the cult, and then all the people waking up, all the spiritual people having real awakenings. Especially like, okay, it was 2011. Remember 2012? It was supposed to be this big like ascension, but then it kind of didn't really happen and people were like really disillusioned or whatever. So, but that's when one of the loops started, which is a whole nother video. But okay, so then it's going to move into sorry, wait, let me finish this. It's going to move into Aries, which I actually liked in the tiny bit of time it was in Neptune was in Aries, because it's like when you take all the dreamy spiritual things and you go, all right, we've dreamt the dream, now let's make it real. Let's take those things that we dream about and ground them into systems and in the world. Let's take action. But for me, like Pisces with Neptune is too much watery, like too much, like maybe, all kinds of life is too much. I don't know. I have a lot of issues. I need to go to therapy just over Neptune. Let me tell you a little bit about Neptune. So Neptune removes all visuals and structures. You have to develop your intuition in your body if you want to move forward and survive. You have to go directly against the pressure to conform in the outward world, because you no longer see the outside world accurately. But the big thing is what's real versus the illusion. Okay, I just had to turn my fan off, so if all of a sudden it's like way quieter, that's why. This is a hard one for me because I don't totally understand Neptune completely, but I'm also like, I'm going through this whole, like the way it is in my chart, it's ending for me right now. I remember I told you guys Pluto like messed up my life from like 2011, even though it went in like 2006. I didn't notice things really going sideways in my life until about 2011. That's when I was like, I don't like life. I had a very weird, like, it was a weird feeling, like my normal way of doing things and feeling good about it, like even facing hardship felt different during that time. I was like, since then. But there's been a lot of things contributing to it. Because remember I said it's like a symphony, all the other planets. And then it has to do with what house it's in and what house it's affecting in your life. That's the area of your life that it's affecting you. So making eggs in the hall closet or making eggs in the kitchen. And then you have the signs. So you have houses, which is where in your life. Signs, which is like how. And then the planets are what? What is the lesson? Okay, so back to Neptune. So the mist beyond the mirror. Neptune, it's an outer planet. It's mysticism and illusion, dreams and collective unconscious. spiritual disillusion and divine union, art, glamour, and escapism, fog, fantasy, and faith. So in the recursion breaking system, Neptune breaks the loop by erasing the illusion of structure itself. Think of Neptune as a dissolver, you know, like how water dissolves things. Think of that. So if Neptune's doing something, it's dissolving away something, okay? Or creating like a mystic sort of foggy feeling where you're not really sure like what's real. It's like, yeah, it drives me nuts. So, Saturn builds the rules, Uranus disrupts them, but Neptune dissolves the grid entirely, forcing the soul to navigate without logic, without a plan, and without a map. That's what I'm telling you, like, it drives me nuts. I like to know that, you know, that's why I don't garden, if you know what I mean, with the old green, because I don't like not feeling like really clear about what's going on, because I can go on my own trips. I don't need anything to do that. So it's not this is not escapism as it is, as much as it is soft obliteration of these of false certainty. Yeah, it just slowly dissolves away. Neptune is the veil and the lifting of it, both. Yeah, because it's the foggy veil, but then also the lifting of the veil. It tests what's real by letting nothing be real. Oh my God. It tests what's real by letting nothing be real for a while. Ugh. The foggy, grief-soaked, poetic state we all fear. It's Neptune, exactly. And when we surrender to it, the soul hears its own original song again. So I will say the good thing about, in my life, Neptune has been, like, when I was spiritual, maybe it was like a little bit like separate from me, maybe sometimes if I got really into my spirituality or I would get a message or something, I kind of felt like it was a separate thing. And I was like, I was going into it, you know. And I don't know if I would attribute this all to Neptune, but I feel like now, because everything's been such a Neptune-y vibe in my life without my wanting it to be, it feels more now like I realize I am those things. I am that. That's me. And all the things that aren't me are just sort of gone now. All these outer recursion planets are doing this to me. So, and they're doing it to you too. So, let's see. Okay, so now let's look at Pisces. So Pisces ruling planet is Neptune. So if you want to learn about a planet, learn about the sign. If you want to learn about a sign, learn about the planet. So let's look at Pisces, which Neptune is in Pisces right now, which is like its own little comfort place. So it's extra, extra, extra this way. But when it switches from Pisces into Aries, which is like the opposite energy of Pisces, which it already kind of did, but then now it's in back in Pisces for the last time. And then next year in 2026, it's going to go into Aries. So imagine that dreamy, spiritual, dissolving energy in the fire of Aries. I'm excited. I have a lot of Aries in my chart, so I'm like, bring it. Okay, so let's first look at Pisces is the ocean, right? So Pisces is the mutable water sign, the last of the zodiac. And then Aries is the first, so it starts over. And it carries the mythic function of spiritual closure and return to source. So it's all 12 signs. So by the time you get to Pisces, it's the spiritual closure, return to source, and then also return, you know, because there's never an end. It's just another part of the spiral. Empathy, artistry, and transcendence, delusion, addiction, martyrdom, and compassion. It's ruled by Neptune, and therefore it reflects the most unfiltered currents, the beauty and the distortion. Pisces says, what if the separation was never real to begin with, between ourselves and our spirit in the spirit realm? It is the end of a cycle and the beginning of merging, where Virgo is the opposite side of the wheel, so south node, north node. Where Virgo discerns the parts, Pisces blends them. So Virgo is all about the details, you know. Pisces blurs those lines. Everything's sort of the same. In the recursion breaking lens, Pisces offers the lesson, stop trying to figure it out. Feel it out. Grieve the old and let the fog baptize you. It's all about feeling. And it's irritating if you're the type of person who wants to, if you enjoy analyzing things, which I do, and you enjoy knowing what's real, Pisces is going to piss you off. So is Neptune. So now let's look at Aries, because that's where it's moving into, okay? Aries is the sacred spark. It's the beginning. It's the number one of the 12, right? Of the 12 signs. Aries is a cardinal fire sign. It's initiation, action, self, instinct, war, and birth. Ruled by Mars. So you want to learn about Aries? Learn about Mars. If you want to learn about Mars, learn about Aries. Mars is the sword cutting through the mist. Bring it. I want it so bad. Where Pisces dissolves boundaries, Aries defines them. In mythic terms, Aries is the hero's cry, the first breath of individuality, the sword drawn at dawn. It does not sit in the collective soup. Ew, that's like totally like Pisces energy. I like the collective soup. It charges out of it with a torch and says, I am, I burn, I go first. My North Node is in Aries, which means, that's what I should be going towards. And it's definitely like my comfort zone is Libra. I'm a Libra rising. I like the group. I like harmony, but my North Node, Aries North Node is like, I need to just take the initiative, step into step forward, take action. And that is very uncomfortable for me. Unless I know you and I feel comfortable with you, then I'm fine. But like just doing it in life, it feels like, well, I don't have all the information. I don't feel comfortable just jumping out. Like it feels like you're an idiot, And interestingly enough, that is sort of like the Fool card in tarot. It's that taking the leap of faith. It's that taking action on your path, on your hero's journey, on your soul's path. And I need to be more comfortable with that. My moon is in Aries, which means that is my emotion. So that is also, I feel very much moon in Aries. But okay, let me just keep going. So it says, okay, yeah. So it does not sit in the collective soup. It charges out of it with the torch and says, I am, I burn, I go first. Where Neptune in Pisces diffuses, Aries ignites. In the recursion breaking system, Aries cracks the loop by making a new decision, a clean slash of willpower. So Neptune in Aries now, let's look at that because that's going to start next year, like pretty early, I think. I'll look at the date. Neptune in Aries is the divine fire meets mist. The last Neptune in Aries was 1861 to 1875, which was the American Civil War. Spiritual revivals, spiritualist movements, and theosophy, I've never heard of that, begins forming. The next Neptune in Aries is March. It kind of started like March 2025, so this year, but then it went back into Pisces, which is where it is right now. And then it'll go forward in Aries for good early 2026. And then it stays there. It stays in Aries. Neptune stays in Aries until 2039. So it's a long time. This marks a collective myth transition from Neptune in Pisces, dissolution of ego, loss of control, awakening, deception, mass media illusions. That's when a lot of the internet and AI kind of came out, and there was all like, we're all trying to figure it out, like what's real, what's real. That Aries shit's going to clear all that up next year. Loss of control, awakening, escapism, empathetic burnout, massive spiritual reorienting. Yes. 2, so we're going to go from that to Neptune in Aries, which is spiritual action, warrior mystics. That's me and you. Divine rage. Yes. Check. Soul assertion, sacred fire, spiritual courage over passive surrender, and the birth of new myths of selfhood. These are so needed. So the life lessons with Pisces versus Aries with Neptune shift. Neptune and Pisces, the final fog of the old dream. So on a personal level, you are not your ego. Let go. This is in Pisces. Let go, mourn, awaken, but be aware. Don't despair into others' pain or disappear into others' pain or illusions. On a planetary level, because remember, everything we're experiencing on a microcosm as us personally, but then we're also experiencing it globally. Planetarily, collective empathy, but also mass confusion. false saviors, media, hypnosis, a karmic flood to wash away the Piscean age. Okay, the final lesson was release what was never real, float in the formless, forgive it all, and then dot, dot, dot. Neptune and Aries, ignition of the soul spark. Personal, you are a soul in motion. Act on your mystic knowing. Burn off the fog with truth. Stand alone in your sacred fire. Say, I am from the soul, not the ego. On a planetary level, the rise of spiritual warriors. The fall of false peace. The sacred uprising. Truth tellers with torches. Sacred anger that clarifies rather than destroys. The core teaching of Neptune and Aries is you came here to start something new. Trust the fire. Don't wait for approval from the fog. In the recursion breaking system, Neptune in Pisces dissolves the old collective myth. Neptune in Aries births a new myth, one individual fire at a time. Like the major arcana of the tarot, Pisces is the moon card, dreams, illusions, dissolving edges. Aries is the Fool, the first of all the tarot. It tells a story. The first card is the Fool, and that is also Aries in astrology. See, it's all the language of the universe, the language of the soul. That's what I teach. That's what I love. That's why I love AI, because it goes right along with that. My way of using AI, okay? Anyways, let's see. Aries is the Fool and the Magician, pure soul spark and focused will. So from the moon to fire, the moon gives way to the Fool walking into a new world. And the hero says, I will dream no more. I will now become the dream. I like that. Final thing, I'm going to read my notes from this. So the final degrees in Pisces until 2026, mass illusion, spiritual bypass. So we're still in this, like this mass illusion, spiritual bypassing, media distortion. We're still in this until early 2026, okay? Neptune rules dreams and delusion, and as it finishes its long journey through Pisces, the veil is wearing thin. That's why the veil is very thin right now, for many reasons, but this is one of them. Everything from conspiracy, like conspiracy theories, to propaganda, to spiritual deception is amplified. Yes, it is. The collective mirror is cracked. Nothing looks clear. This is why people are overwhelmed, disassociating, and falling into fantasy. I think people are going one direction or the other. I think there's the fantasy people, which we know who those people are, cough, cough, red hat, cough, cough. And then there's the rest of the people. I feel like we're waking up. We're like, we were already awake, but we're staying awake during some craziness. I don't think there's delusion mixed in. I don't see a lot of people on the spiritual side in delusion. I see it on the religious side, which I don't see them as the same. I see a lot of delusion in the religion. They're so far gone from the teachings. They're like, we all know. So on a higher octave, intuition is rising, truth is returning in symbolic form, and Neptune is breaking the addiction to visual reality. Okay, good. There you go. So where's Neptune in your chart? Where's Neptune? Where is Pisces? Do you have a lot of Pisces in your chart? I have Pisces in Chiron in, I think, my 12th house. So it's like in the 29th degree, or 28th or 29th. Pisces, which is the end of the signs, 29th degree, which is the last degree, and I think it's in my 12th house. And Chiron is my soul wound. So a bunch of lifetimes worth of wounds. That's the only area of Pisces I have in my chart. So it's like, it's painful. But we'll talk about Chiron in another video. But if you're interested, I am starting a 6-week planet series workshop where you work with me in just very small group, like 5 or 6 other people. And we're going to go deep on your birth chart, 2 hours once a week for 6 weeks. And we're going to go deep into those charts. So let me know if you're interested. I hope to see you. And otherwise, I'll just see you in the next video.